Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of CopaLoadofRacing, where it's a quiet enough Saturday card today to look at with regards to the action. It always kind of is like that. It's like the Saturday before the Cheltenham Festival, I suppose, with Royal Ascot on the horizon, starting on Tuesday. But there's plenty of decent racing to get stuck into in terms of a betting in a betting angle. If the class of racing isn't high up there, few listed races around at the moment. But yeah, we've got York, Sandown, also of course Chester has a decent card. There's some jumping action out there as well at the likes of Hexham, and some evening action at Leicester. But we'll look at what there is on offer in terms of our betting. It's a pretty quick vlog this week, just because we're really going to look at Royal Ascot from Monday night onwards. We'll preview the first couple of days of the meeting on Monday night, and then halfway through the week we'll look at the remainder of the meeting with regards to possibly Thursday night. I'll do a vlog for both Friday and Saturday's action at the meeting, and as well next Saturday's a big meeting for Ayr. They've also got racing at Ayr on Monday. If you're looking to take in some action this week, then in Scotland, Ayr has some good racing on there. So we'll look at that in the week ahead. What first race I'm going to look at today is the 225 at York. This is a 7 furlong handicap, where Spanish City is all the rage at the moment. Ryan Moore's booked for the ride, so there's going to be a lot of money going that way, and I can understand why. It's got form. It looks certainly primed for a good effort. A couple of horses, Squats is another one. I remember it winning at Newbury pretty impressively, and certainly would have a chance. Get Notted's a horse that I've backed a few times this season, and he's very consistent. Always seems to give his best efforts, particularly at York. He runs pretty well, so he certainly has a chance. But one trainer who's absolutely banging form at the moment is Richard Fahey. He had a couple of winners yesterday at York, with Paul Hannigan on board. Society Red was one of them, and also the other one escapes me. It was 14-1 anyway. So it's not just that one of his favourites did get just caught in the line, Mr. Buttons I think it was, in the cellar, but he is obviously, two winners and a second isn't too bad at all. I've just got some technical issues. I decided today to use the old iPad, and it's not playing ball. But so the horse that I'm going to look at is the Feathered Nest. Paul Hannigan's takes a ride. He has got a couple of runners in this race. Richard Fahey, the other one that certainly would also run well, would be Stamp Hill, who won at Ascot in pretty testing conditions last season, I remember. And he also has the Tony Hamilton takes a ride. Zap, I think, is a good enough chance. But I think the Feathered Nest, who's done his best work this season at Chester, won there early in the season, went back there and was placed. So is certainly got the form, and should run pretty well indeed. Sorry, Zap's a horse that's actually in the next race that I'm going to talk about at York. But yeah, plenty of chances, Richard Fahey, in that race, but I would put my money on the Feathered Nest. Speaking about Zap, he's currently trading at 25-1 in the 335 at York. That race looks pretty. It's a 3-year-old handicap sprint, this, over the 6 furlongs. Again, Fahey's well represented. Bengali Boys in there, who won the big race at Newbury last season for 2-year-olds. Great prospector. Jamie Spencer takes a ride. That stepping back and trip on that one. Zap, as I say, he's got in there as well. And another one which I think will run a big race is Gabriel the Saint. for the Fahey Yard. I think he won at Leicester, didn't he? Gabriel the Saint, and won pretty impressively. But he's went right up the weights. I think he's taken quite a big step up in the weights for that. I think did he go up £7 or something? So it's whether or not he can take that on. I'm sure he can. He's currently trading around about 9-1. Not Zap, zapping the nut. That's Gabriel the Saint, of course, one of Dr. Marwan Kukash's horses, if I can say that properly. Now, John Gosden has a run in this one. Jawal, who opened his account in a big field event at Lingfield recently, and he's also won at Kempton. So he's in form, but this is a step up in class without a doubt, and it's whether he can match that. But he's coming from a well-respected yard in John Gosden. He's coming from a well-respected owner in Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum. So he's got those famous colours on. Dane O'Neill's on board, which is a positive. I think he's got a good each-way chance, Jawal. As I say, it's whether he copes with that step-up and trip. I don't think the big field will be a worry. He's ran well in that type of environment before. So I think he's got, as I say, a good chance at the bigger prices there. So as I say, decent enough fare there at York in the 335 there at York. With the other meetings that are on, Chester, some good racing there, of course. At Sandown today, they have the Scurry Stakes taking place, that race over for 3-year-old sprinters who I don't know if you're going to get many that are going to go from this and then jump down to the Royal Ascot for the Commonwealth Cup, but it'll be interesting to see anyway whether or not I'm not wanting to go to Hexham. As I say, my grateful friend here is giving me loads of hassle. It's probably it's that sort of idea when you think you've pressed the right button, but it takes you to Hexham. Where, as I say, good racing there at Hexham. They always have a good, decent summer card on there, but I'm not really into the summer jumps at this moment of time, and because I'm pressing that far too much, it's probably thinking to itself, what are you doing here? But as I say, Sandown, decent card. That Scurry Stakes is off at 2:05. The race that I'm going to look at, the Scurry Stakes at the moment, Sound and Silence 11-2 there is trading there. This is a race where, of course, I remember seeing Batash, the great Batash, win a couple of years ago, I think it was, or was it last season? But anyway, he ran a blinder of a race, and it's pretty competitive again. Mokattil, for the same connections as Batash, I think has a good chance here. 5-1 he's currently trading at. Jim Crowley on board, of course, for his retainer owner, and I think he has a decent enough chance at the prices at 5-1. Sound and Silence, William Buick from the Godolphin stable, who are, of course, flying and on cloud 9 after their win in the Derby, will be looking to follow that up. There's one handicap race that I want to look at Sandown, if this thing would work for me. As I say, it's taking its time, and it's giving me pure jip when it doesn't want to play ball here. Come on. No. Great, isn't it? Technology. That's why I'm better off with old paper and pen. And I said I'll go do that, I'll scribble it down, I'll get this done, but usual. But the Saturday racing, I suppose, will be a bit of a side issue because of the World Cup, of course, taking place over in Russia. Again, 4 matches on today, so it really does, and with the football being on terrestrial television as well, it's a bit of a pain, I suppose, for racing. But the great thing is, a lot of the race courses over the World Cup will be showing many of the games at the track. I'm sure on Monday, whatever they're racing, probably at Windsor on Monday night, aren't they? And they'll have the England game on there, and today they'll have plenty of racing. So let's look at this 3:15 at, well, it's went to the 2:35. Would you believe it? There is a horse called Rio Ronaldo in the 2:35 at Sandown, who of course ran an absolute, talking about the Ronaldo last night was absolutely outstanding, of course, for Portugal with his hat trick to, let's be honest, save the day for Portugal. Right, I've managed to get in there. It's the 3:15 at Sandown. This 1 mile handicap for 3-year-olds and above. And looking down this, as I say, there is one horse that I'm going to pick out here at 9-2 for Charlie Fellows. And Charlie, I think, tweeted the other, I remember one of his tweets, he was saying how he's just been missing out in some of the big group races, and horses are really running well. He won the was it the Nottinghamshire Oaks last Sunday, so he's got real good form. And so Chief of Chiefs James Doyle takes the ride here. He does like he does like any type of ground, it has to be. So if the showers do come to Sandown, he certainly can't be ruled out, because he won over course and distance at Sandown on soft ground a few weeks back. So, but he has shown form on quicker ground if they do avoid the showers. So I think Chief of Chiefs is one to take note of in the 3:15. Okay, so that's my tips and my thoughts for today. A little bit longer than I planned, but that's down to this little. Anyway, as I say, we'll look at Royal Ascot on Monday night for the racing on Tuesday and Wednesday, because the cards will be released at midday there, and then halfway through the week I'll look at the remainder of the meeting. It's certainly plenty of great action involved, and I always like the Tuesday. It's kind of like the first day of the Cheltenham Festival as well. I love the opening day, and certainly the opening day at Royal Ascot has always got plenty of, you've got the Queen Anne, you've got the King's Stand, you've got the St James's Palace Stakes, you've got really top quality action, and as I say, that King's Stand looks to be standing up really, with Lady Aurelia taking on the old great Batash, which I would love to see Batash win again. So all that to look forward to this week. Monday, as I say, if you're looking for something to do, there is racing at Ayr, and is it this week? I'm sure Thursday night there's Saints and Sinners night at Hamilton Park. If you're looking to get along there, big night, big event. Make sure you get dressed up for the occasion, because not dressed up as like a clown or something, but go along in all your finery as such, because it is a big social event in that part of Scotland. And following up to that, as I say, next Saturday, probably it's fair to say during the summer, this is one of Ayr's big race cards. Some listed events on that card, and some really decent competitive action. They'll be hoping that the weather changes. It's absolutely miserable out there just now, but we have been blessed with fantastic weather over the past month or so, so it'll be great if the weather returns to that for next week for the racing action at Ayr. So all that to look forward to. As I say, I'll be back Monday night. Enjoy your day, whatever you're doing. If you're having a bet, enjoying the football, CopaLoadofRacing. See you next week.